First of all, thank you everyone for joining. I know it's been a long year and coming towards the end of the week, and you're still here learning new things about Parlay and ed tech tools more generally. So really appreciate it. We're looking forward to showing you what we've built for the live audio functionality for the Parlay Live Roundtable. My name is Bobby. I'm the CEO of Parlay, and then I'll let Annalisa and Cynthia introduce themselves as well.
Everyone, Annalisa here from the Parlay team. I'm here in Toronto, and my colleague Cynthia is here as well.
Hello, everyone.
Cool. So we're going to try and keep this really short today. We don't. I don't think we need to over-explain things. It's going to be pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do for the demonstration today is I'm going to walk you through sort of step by step on a presentation what the features are, and then I'm going to go into a quick demo to show you those features sort of live in Parlay, and then afterwards, Annalisa is going to run a sample live roundtable with the audio connection. For anyone who's joining on a phone, it might not be possible for you to join. And then for anyone who is on a school device, it's possible, we've seen it a couple times so far, it's possible that the school will need to whitelist the audio integration, just that through the IT department, they'll need to, give permissions for a couple things for the live audio to work. So if you cannot connect to that live roundtable, that will be probably why. So just going to give those two caveats. It should work for most people, especially if you're on a laptop or an iPad. But yeah, that's the agenda today. So obviously we're going to show you the live audio integration, and then there's a couple other small features that we'll show you as well. All right, yeah. Without further ado, in short, we've added live audio to the live roundtable. Obviously, this has been a year where there's been a lot of remote learning, a lot of hybrid learning, and it's something we've always wanted to do. And this year was really the catalyst for us to build this. So basically, what it means is within the live roundtable, you now have the ability to connect audio between you and the students. So the students can hear the teacher, and the students can hear each other, and you can hear the students. There's no video; it's audio only. So it is that normal workflow for the live roundtable, so there's no video; it's just audio. But we're going to show you how it works, basically. So the first thing you'll need to do is when you create a new live roundtable, there's a little toggle switch that you'll see on the teacher control panel in the live roundtable, and it's going to say audio, and you'll just want to toggle that to on if it's going to be a roundtable where the students are either in the same, completely remote or in a hybrid environment. And you're going to want to turn that on before you invite students and before you start the roundtable, of course. So after you do that, the students will join the roundtable in the normal way, where you'd send them the code or you'd send them the link through Google Classroom, for example. And then the students would join the live roundtable. They're going to have to, once the discussion starts, they're going to have to press the connect button, which will show up on their screen in a very obvious place. And I'll show you what that looks like. And then from the teacher's perspective, when students are connected to the audio, when you have the audio on, you will see a green dot next to their name, and that will tell you that that student does have their audio connection working. And so they'll be able to sort of hear what's going on in the discussion, and they're there. So those are a couple important things. And then both the teacher and the students, after they join the discussion, will have to allow the browser to connect to their microphone. This should, if you're using Safari or Firefox or more likely Chrome, this is going to automatically pop up when the teacher goes to start the discussion, and for when the students go to connect. When they press that connect button, this is going to come up. So make sure that students do allow that. And then sometimes if it doesn't pop up for whatever reason, they can actually just press this little lock button here, and it'll give them a drop down menu, and they can go and allow that microphone on their own. So this is just a little bit of the sort of setup stuff that has to happen. And then once you are all together and everyone's microphones are connected and you're ready to start the discussion, there's basically four rules. Number one is only students who are tapped in can be heard by the group when they speak. So even though they'll be able to hear what other people are saying, anything they say won't be picked up by their microphones and broadcast to everyone else unless the students are tapped into the discussion. It's not going to force them to be a part of the queue just because sometimes the queue is used and other times it is not. When students do tap in, they will also be automatically muted and they will have to unmute themselves in order to participate. Again, that's just to eliminate any background noise or 4 or 5 people tap in simultaneously and it gets a little bit chaotic. But students, once they're tapped in, will be able to mute and unmute themselves. Similarly, teachers will be able to mute and unmute students as they see fit. Um, and so will the moderator, if you have a moderator assigned for the live roundtable. And then finally, if the teacher wants to speak, the teacher must also tap in to join the discussion. The reason behind this is, of course, we want Parlay Live Roundtable to be very student driven. So if the teacher wants to say anything, they have to tap in too, just like the students. And again, we'll show you what that looks like. I will say that with this one and really everything that we're working on here, this is our first version of the live audio integration. So for any of you that try it and you feel like maybe some of these rules that we've put in or some of just the workflow doesn't work exactly as you would expect, let us know. Obviously, this is version 1. We'll continue to improve it like we do with everything. So yeah, I would love to get feedback for anyone who has tried it already and wants to share it with us, or who's interested in trying it going forward and wants to provide feedback, whether that's from your own experience or from your student experience. So goes without saying, I suppose, but yeah, we're definitely open to hearing about how these rules and sort of the mechanics of this could be improved. So when a teacher wants to speak, as I was saying, there's basically a tap in button in the middle, which has always been there, and the teacher will press tap in, and that will pop up, and the teacher will now be able to speak to the students directly, and then you can mute and unmute, and then tap out when you want, and then resume the conversation. And then from the student side, when they tap in, they'll again see a mute and unmute button just like you. And when anyone starts speaking, you'll see that pink ring that goes around the student icon there. That indicates that that student is currently speaking in the discussion. So that's really the basics. And then I guess the last thing here is if you leave a discussion open for 10 minutes and no one taps in or out, so there's no activity, then it's going to automatically stop the discussion, which removes everyone from the queue and removes everyone from the sort of center, but you can just restart it and pick up where you left off as well. So that's something possible as well. It's just a heads up that that's there. So yeah, those are the basic rules of it. And I'm just going to switch over and I'm going to show you what that looks like sort of from creating a live roundtable from scratch. So right now I'm inside of Parlay. I obviously am inside of my social studies class. I created a new live roundtable, click create new live. So I'm here. Obviously there's no participants yet. I can set my prompt, my polls, etc. And then I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to turn the audio on. And in doing that, it's going to automatically pop up those rules for me. I can check, don't show me this again, and then it won't, but I like to keep it there just as a reminder. Okay, got it. Now audio is turned on. So close that. And then now if I want to go and invite students, so I'm going to copy the link and then I'm going to open a new tab. And I'm going to join as a student for this discussion. Let's see, Alice. Login, of course, it's going to automatically reroute me to that discussion. And you'll see here that it says the discussion has not started yet. Review the resources and questions, take notes, and view the assessment criteria while you wait. So as a teacher, I'll see that Alice is here. And then when I'm ready to start the discussion, I'm going to press start. And this is going to kick off the discussion. At this point, it's going to connect me automatically, but it's going to ask the students here to connect because now that live connection is actually live. And so the students will have to press connect. And then it's going to ask them to allow their microphone and boom, now they're connected. So as a teacher, if I wanted to tap in, I would simply tap in here and then I can speak. Oh, I'm getting a crazy echo on my side, but I can mute and unmute myself as well. And then when I'm done, and sorry, from the student perspective, it would look like this. So they would see the teacher tap in. And then when I was done, I would tap out. And then the students would again be able to tap in. And from their perspective, they tap in, let's say with a new idea. They put in their new idea. Maybe they get put into the queue system, for example, and they're the speaker. When they're ready, they'll unmute and they can start speaking. And you'll see the pink circle goes around the icon. As a teacher, I can mute and unmute students as I see fit. Yeah, when the student's done speaking, they tap out, and there's no audio connection for them because they're not tapped into the discussion. And then at the end, I would stop the discussion like I would anything else, and that would be it, and I would disconnect everyone. So, in effect, those are the major features of the live roundtable audio integration. Very straightforward. Obviously, if you have questions, put them in the chat. We're gonna and we can answer them now, and then we'll get into trying an example out. Just before we do, though, there's two last little things I want to talk about. The first one is teachers can now see the results of polls by students. So if you run a poll in a live roundtable, you'll see here, students can't see this, and the students still must submit their vote before they see the sort of aggregate totals. But as a teacher, you can see basically who voted in the live roundtable for which answer in the poll. And then finally, we've introduced in the student reports page, we've created a new sort of feature. So you can click on an individual student for a full report, which has sort of always been there, but now you can export that report, and it's going to export a it's going to export a CSV file, which will show all the roundtable information for that student. So I'll just really quickly show you what that looks like. So if I have my social studies class, there's student reports, and go, where's Angela? There she is. And if I export that report and I click on it, it's going to open up. And what it's going to give me is a spreadsheet that has two tabs. Tab one is all of the online roundtables for Angela for the course, what her anonymous identity was, and then all the relevant data, assessment data, et cetera, et cetera. And then the same thing is true for all the live roundtables in the other tab. So you'll get all the student data. This is not the best data, obviously, but you'll get all the student assessment data and participation data in aggregate for a given student over the course of a year. So previously it was just the individual roundtable data that you could extract. And then of course, you still have you can view all of Angela's participations. This is all the online roundtables for the year, and here's all the live roundtables for the year. So you can still see all that information and then jump back to that roundtable as you see fit. So yeah, just a little bit of improvements to the student reports there. I'm going to stop sharing now, maybe pass it off to Annalisa, and then if there are questions in the chat, maybe we can field those before we try it out.
Yeah, it looks like there's just one other question there in the chat from Freddie. How many students can you have in a live meeting using audio?
As many as you like. If you wanted to have 100 students, you could probably do it. It might get unruly, but it's definitely doable. There's no limit at current.
All right, wonderful. So I've actually set up a discussion for everyone to join here today. I've just put three different questions in the prompt. I've linked a few resources, kind of some of the ones that we mentioned. So both the webinar slides as well as the link for anybody who might be having trouble connecting. And I'll just come up here and invite everybody with the link. And I will put it in the chat. So as we're doing this, as I'm coming in, putting it in the chat here, I just want to remind everyone to ensure that you stay muted on Zoom, or else we're going to have we'll have some feedback, or you actually might get a little bit of feedback as well. So as this is happening, just make sure that you are muted, you stay muted on Zoom. And at one point, I'm actually going to mute myself on Zoom as we're going through the session, and I'll make sure that we'll be able to hear, everybody will be able to hear each other in the live roundtable. So I've now turned on the audio. If everybody's logging in, you should get that little prompt to connect to the audio and allow your browser to get access to your microphone. Again, I'm going to keep the teacher view open on my screen here. So at any point throughout this little demonstration, if you'd like to look to see how it might differ from the teacher view, just come back over to the Zoom screen. But in another minute or so, I'm actually just going to mute myself on Zoom so we don't get the feedback, and you'll be able to hear me in the live roundtable. Looks like we almost have everybody in. We probably have a group of about 12 or 13 of us in here. I could see a little green dot beside everybody's name. Okay. And usually when we're starting the live roundtable, as we're waiting for everyone to get log on, usually just remind students, have a look at the resources, have a look at the questions that are there, and maybe jot down what you'd like to say. Jot down something you'd like to say out loud in the discussion on your notepad. Of course, this is kind of like a think, pair, share, and often some teachers on Parlay do a little think, pair, share before the discussion actually starts. And of course, that's a lot easier to manage in an in class environment, but same concept could work online as well.